Freedom fighters, I'm coming back at you with another Manic Monday. And today we're going to be talking about, you probably saw, I think on Friday, or I can't remember if it was Saturday, but I was thinking about this over the weekend. But Virginia Giuffre, one of Epstein's main accusers, died by self deletion. So that's going to be the topic today. That's what we're going to be talking about. And rest in peace to Virginia. And I posted on X whether or not people were saying like, yeah, that's probably a deep state hit, or do you believe she actually did it? But the story gets weirder and stranger, the more that you dig into it. I mean, just like the Epstein case himself, mysteriously hanging by his neck in his cell, and the cameras just happened to go off, the guards were sleeping, and, everything just seems to work out like that. So, as far as the information in this case, Virginia also got in a really bad wreck just like a week or two ago, is what they're reporting. I think her car or something, or maybe she got hit by a bus. All I remember was hearing like a bus or a large truck was involved. And that's another one of their famous methods, man. They love to go the Princess Diana route. Um, Lots of other people, taken out in car accidents. But so yeah, I mean, you can look into that all you want, and were they trying to get her then? But she was, really beat up, banged up from that car accident, and supposedly they're reporting that she was already like she had kidney lacerations or like maybe a liver laceration. It was either kidney or liver, but going into failure, organ failure, and that she was probably not going to make it anyway. And then then they report that she went on her own, and I'm not sure exactly how it went. As far as the method, did she use rope? Did she take medicines? Did she jump off a cliff or whatnot? Well, I don't know how it happened, but it's pretty suspicious, and I know a lot of people are asking questions. And what do you, think happened? Feel free to put in the comments. And as always, if you're new here, this is what I cover: the news. We talk politics, current events, and I do a little travel vlog thing, gear reviews, different stuff. So definitely, like, share, comment, subscribe, help the channel out. But that's what I wanted to talk about here and kind of get your guys' opinion on it. And then I was thinking over, the weekend about it, and I was like, man, the lessons to be learned here. So I seen she's moved around quite a bit. It seems now she's in Australia, and there was a place that I wrote it down over here, but I'm totally gonna botch that, so I won't even say it. But she also lived in Perth, which is a pretty like elite enclave kind of area, which I said, well, that was her biggest mistake right there. I mean, obviously, I think she's an author and she's done, different stuff, so she's made some money. Um, and, she was in a pretty nice area, but I'm like, man, that's just like, if they're coming after you, you're this high profile, one of the biggest cases in the world, that brings down a bunch of these deep state actors, politicians, Hollywood actors, musicians, all this stuff. You need to be on like top notch security, and I would never go anywhere unarmed. And then you choose one of these elite enclaves in Australia, by the way, which has no firearms rights whatsoever. I actually did a video a while back of I think he was a boxer or something, an MMA fighter that had an underground bunker firing range and all this, guns and ammo um, but yeah, I mean, you see this a lot with a lot of other people, and it's like that would be like me moving to, you know, San Francisco wine country, and cozying up with Nancy Pelosi and all, those people, and knowing those are the people, trying to take you out. and then there's no firearms rights there. Like you can't carry, and the elites always get their um permits and permissions, and they go by different rules anyway, so it's kind of different for them. But for the regular people, um and I always say, I'm not going to tell you to do, break the law and carry anyway. The disclaimer. um I don't support or encourage any illegal and unlawful actions, and always do your research. But what I will encourage and support is, you at least, if you're not carrying firearms, carrying a knife, or yeah, I mean that might be illegal in some places too, but you can carry, no joke, I've carried sharpened pencils before. I mean, I did that back in school. Um, and that was way before John Wick. So don't even start saying like, oh, he's trying to take from John Wick or something like that. I've been in areas working where you can't carry and stuff, and I'll carry a screwdriver or something. The main point is just don't go unarmed, and kind of like that movie in Taken, where he's like, you gotta fight with everything you have, and that's what you do. I mean, if they're like gonna kidnap you or try to take you or anything, or string you up and force write you a letter and take you out. There's a good scene in the movie Shooter where they string this guy up in a self deletion machine, and it's like all that stuff, man. Like, you got to fight with all you have, and if you can even poke just one of them, and make them bleed, I forget what the statistic is, but it's like your case is damn near gonna get solved. It's like 80-90%. Like, it's gonna go in your way, and that's why they always they check for like for women when they get attacked under their fingernails, because even if you have nothing, but you scratch and you leave marks on these people, and you get skin cells, or you make them bleed, you get DNA under your fingernails. I mean, it's a wrap. They're getting that person. But I mean, I think the lesson to be learned here, man, is like, know your surroundings, what area you're in, what you're allowed and able to do. But again, it's a natural human right to defend yourself. So, my view is do as you please. But and I would be, of course, in some kind of well, a state that allows great things, Florida, Alabama, Texas, whatever. But I mean, that kind of goes to another thing where I've talked about, don't run and hide from these people either. If that your home is your home, if they want to confront you there, then that's basically how it goes down. Which I've been waiting to do that balkanization video for a while. I'll probably have to get to that. But and talking about Texas, I was actually hearing it wasn't Texas, I believe it was New Mexico, that Epstein had his ranch there. And now he's had properties all over the place. I know everybody only talks about the island, but because that was like the vacation destination. People wanted to go out to a remote area, surrounded by water and palm trees, and it's the scenery. But he's had places in New York and all these other places, and he had a ranch that I think they said was like 10,000 miles. No, not miles, acres. But I mean, that still seems big. I mean, 10,000 acres is freaking huge. Maybe it was 1,000 acres. I don't know. But this place had, they said, like, huge computer rooms, and like of storage, and I think they said an on-site like doctor or hospital room, and they were like, this was the baby factory. This is where they were making illegal, kids. And also, down there by the border and stuff, right, like that, there was probably tons of trafficking. Now, what they do to these people are 10 times worse. What they do to, and I'm not excusing, what they did to Virginia, or what they do to any of these, other women, or heck, boys too. I mean, they do it to everybody. But when they snatch some kid off the street, or they woo these young women in with whatever, the party lifestyle, the money, the trips, flying them out on private jets, whatever it is that gets them there, they know there's some tracking there, right? Like, they have a family, even if dad's in prison and mom's, on the needle or whatnot, and they're not present, they are there, and they most likely go to school, and all that. There's a track record. So when they come up missing, people, know about it, and then they know people are looking, for these people. But when they get these illegals and stuff in here, and they bring them in, and as like a form of payment, they're like, you give us a kid, and that's your payment, and we let you go. But and that kid born in a private hospital, on this guy's ranch, there's no track record of that. No one knows who that kid is. And that's what they're now using. And those kids get the worst of the worst, right? Like, those are the kids that end up on the dark web, and they're in dungeons, and you can only imagine. They're skinning these kids alive. We all know the Hillary Clinton videos and all this stuff with the Podestas and all these stuff, and they even blackmail these people with some of that too. There's call it conspiracy theories, whatever. As always do your own research. Look this stuff up on your own. This is all just, we're just talking the talk here, and I'm shooting out ideas, and it's all just opinions, right? And conversation. So as always, do your own research. But they said they've even blackmailed these celebrities, and they've had illegitimate children. With the Podesta, they've always kind of linked him to Chester Benningfield, and people say that Bill has children outside of Clinton's marriage and all that. Well, people say even Chelsea isn't Bill's, that's Hubbard's. So you don't even know what's going on in that whole world. But my point being was, what goes down at that ranch was probably 10 times worse than what was going on the island. But that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. Get your guys' opinion on, do you think she did it? Was it a hit job, from these people, knowing that maybe this case is being looked at? And for real, Cash and Pam Bondi need to get on it and stop playing around with these fake files, and all the conservative influencers dancing around, parading a nothing burger. And that's what I, tweeted when I first heard it. I'm like, this is on Pam and Cash for not getting the job done. And, playing around with these, fake files, and no arrests being put out. Where's the list? And also, who I really want is these FBI officials and stuff that did the raids. Where are the videos? Where are the tapes? Where are the the records? Where is all this stuff? And you remember they said they were burning it all and everything? Those people need to be held to account as well. They're just as guilty in the whole thing, in the cover up. So, again, let me know what you think, and until the next one, man, you know what it is. We are on our own. Nobody's coming to save us. So get right with God, because only God can save you. Freedom Fighters out.